Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hello, I'm Kevin.
I'm John.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard, throbbing look back at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Now, Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, you guys, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies, and we're breaking them all the way down.
John. Hey,
John.
my boy.
Hey, John boy.
I feel like we should start every recording session with a bourbon taste test because it gets the ball rolling.
Yeah, it does, really. I feel the hairs on my chest getting longer.
We've graduated to that meta-modernity, the 4 grain with a heavy dose of oats in the mash bill.
It is really interesting.
It's interesting.
It is not unpleasant.
It's not unpleasant. It was a little harsher on the first few pours, and now that it's sort of gotten to mellow out a little bit, I think.
Hear it?
Oh, it sounds cold.
It's unlike anything you've ever had. I guarantee it. I actually will guarantee it.
Yeah.
It's not like anything you've ever had.
I've got another 4 grain in the cabinet that I'll open up at some point, but I don't think it's going to be as oaty. But yeah, we're back. We're talking more about Cyborg.
Yeah, this is the 3rd episode in our series of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Cannon Films masterwork.
Welcome to everyone who's listening. If you haven't seen this movie in a while, it's maybe still on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Check it out. It'll help jog the memory. This is a big blank spot for me. I've only seen it like within the last couple of weeks. Now I've seen it a bunch of times, and I feel like after we're done with this, I won't have to watch it ever again.
That's true. You can tell other people you've seen it, and one day it'll come up in like a prize-winning trivia question. And you'll be like, holy shit, it was
Who
Fender
directed
Tremolo.
Cyborg?
Oh, Pion.
Oh,
Albert Pion.
Good old Pion. But I'll try to catch some on the plot. We're in some sort of a post-apocalyptic hellscape. There's a plague going on. There's a cyborg named Pearl Prophet who has the data that's needed to develop a cure, like in her hard drive or something. So they were trying to move her from New York to Atlanta, where the cure could be developed with the Earth's last doctors.
Right, at the CDC or something.
Yeah, and we got Van Damme playing a character named Gibson, who is what they call a slinger. He can transport you from here to there safely.
That's right.
There's bad guys led by a dude named Fender Stratocaster.
Fender Tremolo.
Fender Tremolo. Fender Piccolo. And he's going to get you. He's an evil pirate. He's like a warlord killer guy with a whole posse of pirates or something. He's kidnapped Pearl. He wants to take her to Atlanta because he wants to own the cure or something.
He wants to basically hold the world hostage and let anarchy run amok. And if you want the cure, you have to come through me. And that's just kind of the guy he is.
So in some sort of feat of superhuman endeavor of speed, we've got Gibson and his sidekick Natty have made it on foot from New Jersey to Charleston faster than a steamship.
Or at least on the way to Charleston where the ocean meets the road to Atlanta.
Some shit like that. Yeah.
We're not sure exactly geographically where.
So they're basically trying to intercept Fender and his crew and get Pearl back. And also Gibson has beef with Fender from way back. His main goal is, I just want to kill this dude Fender. We don't know exactly what he did yet, but he somehow fucked Gibson's shit up in a previous life. He was in love with a young nubile farm girl.
Mary.
Mary. The men who murdered my pa.
It fucked him up so bad, it traumatized him so bad that he forgot how to act.
He also forgot how to fuck because we had Natty throwing herself at him, and he seemed to have shut that shit down.
Yeah.
And that's basically where we're at.
Yeah. So he is, they have miraculously come to the spot on the beach where they know that Fender's boat's going to be coming, and they spent the night
naked.
Yeah, naked together.
Not fucking.
Yeah, in the firelight. So our action picks up the morning after Gibson and Natty arrived at the exact spot on the coast where they know beyond a certainty that Fender and his crew are coming by with Pearl en route to Atlanta. Natty wakes up to find Gibson staring off into the ocean with binoculars and not vamoosed like she had assumed. The moon...
How we have to acknowledge they slept naked next to each other just for the fun of it, I guess.
To dry off. Their clothes are drying.
I guess so. It's just so weird.
The moon high in the sky sure leads me to believe that it's still nighttime.
Oh, is it supposed to be a day for night thing or something?
I would say it's the next morning.
I would think first light of morning.
It's a high moon. I don't know. She walks over and asks what he sees. He says, Fender, and turns to go get his shit together. She looks through the binoculars, and we see the boat cruising an intercoastal waterway. But not 10 seconds ago, Gibson was staring out at open ocean.
And this are not like super futuristic binoculars or anything, but like I feel like she could have seen that shit with the naked eye. Like it was large through the view of the binoculars.
Right. So cut to inside the boat where we get a lingering shot of a dazed, naked woman and other.
What was up with that?
I think
I'm not complaining, but like, was she high?
Well, so the shot sure made me think that after the knife sharpening, that there was some sort of actual orgy.
Okay.
And that
sure.
And that probably, given the way that this movie was written, that woman was probably raped, and maybe she was taken captive in the village.
She was like no, I think that was the super buff pirate chick.
That one looked like a wayfish blonde woman. She didn't look familiar to me.
She had like eight-pack abs.
I thought it was Haley when I first saw her.
Oh, I hope that it was not something that dark. I think.
Yeah, my mind immediately went there.
I think she was like the permed out.
She was
cape-wearing pirate chick.
This chick in the chick. This woman was blonde, and the buff cape wearing. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. Anyway, it didn't. It looked sinister to me. Anyway, then we get a shot of Haley, who it bears reminding folks did not enjoy watching Fender killing people at the beginning of the movie, staring at Pearl Prophet while fidgeting with the necklace she's wearing. Pearl notices
her
Haley.
hair was crimped to within a fucking inch of its life.
Well, she woke up early. Pearl notices Haley, and Haley looks away. Then Pearl hears seagulls and looks up at the moon. The moon, mind you, which triggers a flashback.
It was like seagulls is the universal sign for you're near the shore, but they've been near the shore the whole fucking ride, so I don't know.
Just a few hundred yards. So in the jump back in time, a scientist/soldier-looking guy explains to Pearl that she was chosen for cyborg duty because of her matrix engineering background and because of her personality. You're the perfect choice for this mission.
Sure.
What are you saying? I'm cold and distant?
I don't know.
I have no personality?
This is one of the few scenes I felt like, though, that had actual like recorded dialogue. And in the whole movie, I feel like this is one of the ones where I'm like, oh, I think these actors were actually speaking these lines on set on the day.
And this is one of the dudes that has like a twinge of something. He's like, you're not from around here. He's from somewhere else. But then he tells her that undergoing the surgery carries serious consequences. Consequences? No, consequences. After the operation, you'll never be the same again, he says. She says she wouldn't have volunteered if she didn't know the score, that the plague has fucked everything up, the world's gone to shit, and she wants to help change it if she can.
Noble move.
So
was her name was Pearl Prophet before she was a cyborg? He's like calling her Pearl and shit. I'm like, that's a cyborg's name right there.
Pearl?
No, just Pearl Prophet.
I don't know. Everyone in this movie has a stupid name. Cut to an operating room where a really bad-looking fake Pearl head is being operated on.
What was it? All fake, or was it half of it the actress and the other half like a prosthetic?
It sure looked all fake to me. It looked like one half was like sagging off, but there's some.
I thought one half looked well done, and then the other half looked like they just slapped it together.
That's what I'm
something.
saying. It's still wet. They couldn't dry it. So
they basically just like scooped her brains out with an ice cream scoop or something.
She's getting a computer installed in her head. There's a cool moment when a tech or surgeon or whatever comes in and pops a glowing machine eye out of the head, and there are all these like wires and shit, and like telescopes out, and
that
like
was
lifts
fucking
up
freaky,
like a cordyceps mushroom thing. I'm like, cut to sometime after that procedure, Pearl tells the scientist guy that she'll bring back the data they need, and we see her leave with the soldier Fender Stratocaster. Strata, what was his name?
Marshall Strat.
Marshall Strat.
Don't worry, Pearl. I'll get you to New York and back.
Dramatic irony.
Oh,
sorry,
boy.
guy, you didn't make it, bud.
And then there was a bunch of other soldiers standing around, and I'm like, I hope these guys are all going, not just like the two of them.
No, they got to move fast.
I guess so.
We got to move quick. So it's like Frodo and Sam in Mordor.
I'll also point out again, it's just not clear why the data must be transported inside of a cyborg rather than just put onto a disc. But that's neither here nor there because the movie's called Cyborg.
I will explain it to you. I will explain my theory in the last episode.
Last episode, teaser.
That's right. So jump back to present day aboard the ship. Fender enters the downstairs cabin, stares at Haley for a while, stares at Pearl for a while. Then he says they'll dock and reach the inland route by noon. Then he gets up.
There's a lot of staring
and
going on.
caresses Pearl's face, but she doesn't seem to mind it. She's acting like she's okay with it.
I feel like she's trying to.
Him.
That's what I think is going on.
She's trying to placate Fender Tremolo.
Is Fender supposed to have this seductive quality that you fall under his spell?
I think he's just extraordinarily violent.
Okay.
So, cut to the good guys, who knows how long later. Gibson, because time is an illusion, Gibson and Natty find Fender's boat docked, but it seems no one's around. Gibson tells Natty to stay close. A pan over to the boat in the dock shows us some kind of industrial complex, and it looks like driving by Chevron in Houston.
I feel like it was like a paper mill or something. Like that. But in an editing travesty, in that wide shot of the mill, you could see Gibson and Natty were walking in the distance.
Oh, really?
Then it cuts back to a close-up of them on the dock again. It's like, fucking hell. I feel like the editor was doing the best with what they had to work with.
Anyway, Gibson drops his pack there on the dock. Yeah. And they're,
don't need this.
I don't know, a half mile, 3/4 of a mile away from the thing. Why is he dropping his pack there?
I don't know, man.
Anyway, they start over toward whatever this complex is. While they're walking, little do they know they've been spotted by Fender, Haley, and Hagen from Gladiator.
Yeah, dude. That fucking guy, man.
Ralph Möller. Dude is so recognizable. Apparently, his German accent was so thick that they did, in his very few lines, they dubbed his shit.
Fender tells him, take him out.
In this movie, he's Brick Bardo, which is a pretty sweet name.
I love that, dude. Yeah, we haven't seen him yet in this movie, so where the fuck did he come from?
That's what I'm saying. Is
where'd they find this guy?
Studded bra woman. We see her in the first scene, and then she doesn't come back until the very end of the movie.
And dude, coming off the top rope, a late entry for worst haircut of the movie on Brick Bardo.
Yeah, well, that
shit was terrible, bro. After the fall of civilization, there was no shortage of fucking crimpers and perm solution or whatever the hell.
So how come he wasn't getting it?
I don't know what's going on.
He refused the service. That's part of being in Fender's entourage is hair service. Maybe that's Haley's role. She's the hairdresser.
She's the hairdresser. So I love that dude. He was also one of the big German heavy drinkers in Beer Fest.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then he was, I got to watch this movie. I sent you the trailer earlier. He was the main bad guy in Best of the Best 2.
I can't imagine him being the main anything in anything.
And in that trailer to that movie, they were and introducing Ralph Möller. And it's wait, he's done a handful of movies already. What the fuck do you mean? But I think he changed his stage name.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's in introducing this guy but by a different name. Ralph Möller, the big German.
Stallone.
Yeah, I don't know. Sam Stallone. I love it. So, but yeah, I love seeing that dude pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, me too.
He's actually good in this. I mean, he's just got such a presence.
He does. He goes for it. Much more so than most of the other actors in the movie. So Brick asks who the interlopers are, but Fender just says to take them out.
Take them out.
Bardo says to some other pirates, let's move.
Get them.
So Gibson and Natty cautiously enter the building, and Gibson's giving it the look around. He tells Natty to stay here, that he wants her out of his way. She protests, but he says he wants her to hang tight until he can see what's going on. Natty says she's here for Pearl, and she's not going to let Gibson do anything that could jeopardize her safety. So Gibson promises that nothing's going to happen to Pearl. It's a promise.
It's a promise. A promise.
Oh, okay.
Long pause.
Gotcha.
It's like, fucking shit, man.
Familiar,
what are you doing?
I'm familiar with this word.
That delivery was so bad, he had no choice but to just double down on it.
Yeah.
Let me just say the shit again.
Yeah. So,
Hall of Fame bad acting.
No sooner is Gibson out of sight while climbing to a higher level than Natty says, "Fuck it." Rounds one corner and is instantly captured.
It was 10 seconds of screen time.
I counted. It was about like 18, 19 seconds.
He walked off.
She says
seconds later, she is captured.
She says, "Oh shit," and she's right.
Yeah, why did you do that?
Upstairs, Gibson hears a noise, whips around, sees a pirate across this large open area staring back at him. Dude looks an awful lot like the middle guy who just got the drop on Natty. Like it could be the exact same guy.
Most likely.
He teleported. So Gibson takes all day to line up a shot, and the guy just, I don't know, moves.
He saunters off.
Takes one very slow step to his right or his left, but he only moves a few steps away to the end of a long catwalk. Gibson's on the opposite side, could still shoot the guy.
Tucks that rifle away, though.
The pirate starts doing all this knife twirling. Instead of just shooting the guy and knowing that there are more pirates around, Gibson slings his rifle over his back. The now crouching pirate draws yet another knife because everyone has 6 knives. Gibson starts running at him from his side of the platform, which seems to elate this pirate who charges and starts screaming and smiling. So as they near each other, Gibson draws his knife and also starts screaming.
It took a while. It reminded me of that shit in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's running forever.
Dude's just eating his apple.
It took
I thought the exact same thing.
They were like a mile away from each other or some shit.
When they finally reach each other, Gibson just kind of sidesteps a swipe and parries, which sends sparks flying, which I don't think that's how anything works. But Gibson dispatches the guy with 2 kicks, one of which is a patented JCVD roundhouse.
Do you crush his throat?
It seems to crush the dude's throat with his foot.
Okay.
Then gets interrupted by Anthony Kiedis' punk goon. This guy, as we discussed in the first episode, seems to be one of the only people who knows some martial arts or at least can fake it. He gets some kicks in on Gibson, including 2 to the spine, one of which breaks the catwalk railing that Gibson's holding on to.
Well, it was like a gate unlatched and swung on. I'm like, why is there a gate 50 feet up here?
Did it just snap? And I couldn't.
There was a brief shot of the latch popping open and then it swung out.
So Gibson,
it doesn't make any sense though.
Yeah. Gibson slips off the railing, but miraculously grabs onto some pipes. He's still maybe 20 feet. He fell 20 feet probably. Yeah. And then he somehow grabbed the pipe, still 20 feet up. A grin from Fender, who's loving it. On the ground level, another pirate, this crazy motherfucker, runs out below. Gibson's just rebel yelling, shrieking, Anthony
Fender is chilled out watching it all happen. Why we pointed out maybe on this before. Why does the big bad guy always hang back and not get involved? I'm just gonna wait. Let me let you take out all my guys one by one.
When you're the one guy who is uniquely qualified to kill this interloper, why would you not
step right in when you have numbers?
Yeah. Anyway, it also would seem like a good way to rally the troops, boost morale.
Yeah, sure.
Show them, hey, look, I'm in here. I'm in the trenches with you fucks. So anyway, Anthony Kiedis' goon lines up a shot to throw a knife at Gibson, Gibson starts freaking out and starts weirdly screaming and shaking the pipes to try to work it loose. Right as Anthony Kiedis chucks the knife, the pipe breaks at one end, but as it's still connected to something else, it becomes a rope upon which to swing.
Pipes don't swing?
Sure they do.
That is so weird.
These are future pipes, Kevin.
I guess so.
It is a wonder of physics that the pipe is exactly the length it needed to be so that Gibson could just let go, hit the ground running, draw his rifle, and open fire all in one smooth motion.
That was literally impossibly fast how fast he had the rifle out.
Yeah.
They definitely were they didn't have the shot they needed to splice in.
No.
They're just fuck it, cut it together.
Yeah. He unloads on 3 pirates, goes to take a 4th shot, but the gun's empty, and it would seem to me that there'd be no way possible to wonder or guess incorrectly how many shots are in that gun.
Yeah.
You'd know.
So he took 1 shot earlier somewhere. Yeah, okay. All right.
And now he is taken 3 more, guns empty. Another pirate charges. He just busts the dude in the face with the empty rifle.
Absolutely.
We get a very slow turn from Gibson and then an extreme zoom in on Fender at the other end of the corridor. Natty's lying on the ground at his feet, knocked out. Gibson's,
they didn't show how that happened, but okay.
Yeah. Gibson slings his rifle again, and the music picks back up as he starts to slow walk it down to Fender.
Very slow.
And this is a long shot of Van Damme just walking, not being interfered with, just slow, like, was it Dutch angle or was it just straight on Dutch tilt?
I don't know. They might have been. There's definitely some pop up later.
Yeah. So Fender goads him from the other end of the place. We switch to slow-mo because we have to. Walking for a bit before another pirate steps into Gibson's path. After some pairing of knife swipes, Gibson pushes the guy down.
I felt like he sliced his femoral artery. Is that coming up still?
Well, then the dude gets back up and tries to kick Gibson, but Gibson draws another small knife and cuts the dude's throat.
Okay.
So then Gibson casts a glance back at Fender, who yells, "Motherfucker!" and takes a shot with his gun that's similar to Gibson's gun, but has 2 more barrels. The shot grazes Gibson's shoulder. We get a Van Damme. His knife goes flying, and he drops to the ground in pain.
Absolutely.
In a cool overhead shot of Fender, we see pirates just start crawling out of the masonry. I counted 10 pirates plus
from
Fender.
everywhere.
Yeah.
They were stepping out, though, from columns that it's like, they were just chilling out behind a column.
Like, what were you doing?
They're just waiting for this moment.
I'm surprised some didn't rappel in, to be honest with you.
They were letting all their cohorts be slaughtered while they were waiting for the big reveal.
This happens a couple of times in the movie, though, where guys hang back and let their boys go to battle, and then they're like, all right, now I'll go.
This is where I felt like there were just way more dudes stepped out than could possibly have fit on that boat.
Right. So then Haley the pirate, who showed some squeamishness at murder earlier. And
she's like the young pretty girl.
Yeah. She gets a solo walk out from behind a pillar. Gibson immediately notices this necklace she's wearing. There's cut to flashback. Earlier, we established that years ago, Gibson had taken a gig protecting a young adult woman, Mary, and her 2 younger siblings, a sister and a brother. The flashback opens with the younger sister explaining that she'd been telling Mary that slingers, these bounty hunters, post-apocalyptic errand runners, killed pirates. And she said, I'm going to be a slinger one day. And Mary is like, the fuck?
Someday I'll fight in the Kumite and make my father proud.
Make my father proud. Weirdly,
it was horrendous ADR work from all involved again.
Yeah. Weirdly pulling the girl's hair, Gibson says, "You'll do something better, Haley." The young girl notices Gibson's St. Christopher medallion.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Gibson notices her noticing his medallion.
I noticed you noticing me.
Yeah. I couldn't help. But jump to the present. Haley the pirate is wearing that fucking necklace.
So how much... That gives us like a clue of how much time has passed since the Mary days then.
We'll say,
what do you think it is? Like 8 years, 10 years later, 6 years?
I'd say she's 12. So I would
is she
say
20 now?
I would say let's be generous and say 10. Let's say it's 10 years. A decade has passed.
That's a long time. I mean, to be like still like traumatized, I guess, by it all. But it's pretty traumatic, as we'll find out.
Yeah, I like we have yet to, you and I, experience a world like this, and hopefully we never will have to. But fuck, I can't imagine.
It's taking Gibson though a long time to track down Fender.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like he's that hard to find.
I feel like he's always on his tail though, and apparently he can't catch up with him because the guy. He should be able to catch up with him.
He can move.
He can defy the laws of space and time.
Speed.
So Haley, walks up to Fender and rests a head on his shoulder. We don't know whether or not she recognizes Gibson. I don't think so.
See, I felt like maybe he's supposed to have some like seductive superpowers, like some cult leader type thing. Or is it just everyone's so scared of him?
I think that everyone's so scared of him. And he probably does have some sort of like charismatic hold, but I think it's also like they know who Alpha is. They know who feeds them. They know who has the good ideas and is fearless in battle. And she's been brainwashed. She probably has been taught that he had no choice but to kill those family members or whatever.
I didn't want to. They made me do it.
What I don't understand is like how Fender doesn't recognize this guy. But maybe it's because he's killed so many people wantonly for decades that he just does. He's like, one face is the same as the next face.
What was the movie we were watching where he's like, for you, that was the biggest moment of your life. For me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
What was that was. I don't remember what it was. Was it Highlander? I don't know what it was.
Well, it'll come to us.
Yeah, sure.
So there's this long stare down, one of many long stare downs between Fender and Gibson. Lots of shots back and forth between them.
Tremendously long.
Then after several hours, Gibson starts to reach for something. Fender smiles, seeming to know something's about to go down. In a flash, Gibson launches a knife from his boot at Fender, but Fender dodges it. Gibson jumps up and just starts running.
The editing in this movie is so offensively bad. It's like, it's almost borderline intentionally funny.
Yeah.
Like things that I feel like there's no sense of pacing at all in the movie. It's like things that should happen quickly take forever, and then things that should deserve a little time are just like glossed completely over or cut around completely.
If someone had told you that this movie was made by a handful of college students on $2,000 budget,
yes,
would you be like, man, they did a really good job?
I'd still
or would you still say, man, the editing sucked?
I'd still think, wow, the editing, like they just didn't
Would you give them any kind of a pass though?
Yeah, I think you'd have to say like, you guys just didn't know to get the coverage that you were going to need to like edit this in a way that makes sense. But these are, in theory, professional filmmakers who should know better. Should have fucking known better.
Should have known better.
It was, some of the stuff plays out really quick, and then you get scenes like this where they just stare at each other forever.
Yeah.
There's a scene later.
Oh,
we'll definitely talk about. They stare at each other for a minute straight out of a movie that's only 90 minutes long.
Like full 40 seconds. So, Gibson launches the knife, misses, and just was like, all right, bye. So Fender sends his goons after him. They're all running and screaming, not at all inconspicuous. Gibson hides and reloads his rifle, and it's a CO2 cartridge.
Yeah, he's like reloading the thing, but it's like
that's interesting. I was like, that's cool.
I don't know what it's shooting. Maybe like some sort of darts or something.
I think it shoots like little pellets or something.
Yeah,
but it turns out in real life it's a paintball gun.
Yeah,
so it would make sense. But it's like if you're using what you could find, and a CO2 cartridge would send out a bullet that would maybe he sharpens them to a point that it can penetrate skin and kill people. Then
it's cool. I'm not hating on it. Maybe it's like a poison paintball.
I like the idea of like in absence of gunpowder, but how's he finding CO2 cartridges? Those have to be more precious. Anyway. Somewhere else in the compound, Brick Bardo tells a random pirate to keep an eye on Pearl.
Keep an eye on her. It was like this horrible voice.
Wait, what? Well, he goes to join the hunt for Gibson. Cut back to Gibson, who starts to climb a ladder, which appears to be directly over Brick's head because Brick acts like he hears the sound very close by.
This is where shit starts to get real weird. It seems like Brick knows exactly where he is, or he's heard exactly where he is. But
everyone's good at sensing things. The guard duty pirate takes Pearl over to where a still unconscious Natty is under lockdown. Natty's going to need to see a concussion specialist.
How do they not show what happened to her? That's just another failure of filmmaking. I kind of don't mind that they like knocked her out and dragged her over there. She got brained, I guess.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we get a sequence of shots showing the cat and mouse game between Gibson and Brick, which is mostly Gibson making lots more noise than a chased person ought to be making, and Brick hearing him and looking around. There's a cut to a long pan around shot of the two pirates guarding Pearl and Natty, and as the camera comes to rest, we see Gibson in the background has snuck around and shoots the two guards. Cut back to Brick, who smiles and draws his knife like some shit's about to go down.
Yeah, right. It seems like he knows just exactly where he is. He's looking at him and sneaking up behind him. That's the acting he's giving. Also, kudos to Gibson's marksmanship, because he bullseyed those two guys from distance, like without aiming.
Yeah,
he was just shooting from the hip. 1, 2. They're
like
both
some
down.
Schwarzenegger shit.
Absolutely.
Then we cut back to Gibson, who does this acrobatic like flip and drop from the perch.
No sense of urgency whatsoever. He's just like slowly walking over.
Yeah, walks over to Pearl and Natty. Pearl looks concerned, but then apprehensive. Like, I don't know if you should be here or if I should. Like, Gibson checks Natty for a pulse, apparently finds one because he slings her over his shoulders like some potatoes, then tells Pearl to come on. But Pearl's like, I'm not going with you. Say what? She weirdly says that he's not strong enough to get her to Atlanta and that Fender would eventually catch them and maybe kill them both. Is that based on more computations in her machine brain?
That's a brutal thing to say to a guy who just killed 10 people to rescue you.
Yeah.
You're not strong enough.
okay,
what?
That's not nice. That really hurts my feelings.
Absolutely.
So she acknowledges that Fender's got to go and that she's going to lead him to his death in Atlanta, where they, quote, have the means to kill him.
She had just literally said, nothing can stop him in this world. We got to get him to Atlanta. We can kill him there. What?
Well, Atlanta is not of this world.
I guess not.
It's on top of the portal. I don't know. She then adds, in the world, nothing can stop Fender, not even Gibson, but why? She doesn't explain it. So, suddenly Brick appears and yells out, and bad guys swarm. Gibson runs off carrying Natty in a fireman's carry. Pearl presents herself to Fender, and Fender orders a guy to look after her.
See, I think Pearl is like letting Fender think that she's under his spell or something
I agree.
like that.
She's placating him. We get a shot of Gibson running with Natty on his shoulders, and up and behind him, pirates are running on an upper-level catwalk, and no one knows how he put that much distance between himself.
No, he was surrounded.
Especially while he's carrying someone.
He was surrounded, and now he's well ahead of everybody.
Like several hundred yards and a level down. So Brick Bardo appears to be leading the way because we get a solo shot of him running and screaming. Then we cut back to Gibson, who somehow has time to set Natty down, lift a manhole cover, then pull her down the ladder, ostensibly without dropping her. And below, we see him carrying her through some kind of sewer system.
That shit took forever.
Yeah.
It's like, why not just let her wake up and be under her own power at this point? Because that shit was painful to watch. It took so long.
Yeah. This is all in view of Brick, who runs up just as they've gone out of sight, and he yells, "Yeah!" and appears about to climb down. Cut back to Gibson carrying Natty, back up to the manhole where a female pirate runs up, aggravatedly chucks her spear down. She's like, "I'm not carrying this down here."
Fuck this spear.
And climbs down the ladder.
I don't need a weapon.
Then we see Brick trudging through the sewer. Then Gibson carrying Natty. For some reason, Gibson stops every time he hears a bad guy yell behind him. He stops and takes a... It's like, oh, fuck, another bad guy screaming. The next bad guy to run up on the manhole is Anthony Kiedis, but he climbs down the ladder with his pole weapon. No problem. Back down in the sewer, it seems like Gibson fumbles and drops his rifle.
I don't know. I couldn't tell if that was on purpose or not.
I think it looked like an accident.
Maybe if he's out of cartridges or whatever, maybe it's just like I gotta lighten this load. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe he's out of CO2. Yeah. So Brick seems to hear this somehow over the water that's dripping and falling all around him.
Brick looked like a fucking wet poodle down there. Like he looked terrible.
Did not look good with the wet wig. So Gibson picks up the pace while Brick seems to be catching up.
Wait, there's water pouring in from everywhere, but it's bone dry outside.
I would just maybe there are lots of leaking pipes. I don't know. So as the music tension starts to build, the musical tension. And in a stylishly lit section of the sewer.
Where was the blue mood light coming from? I don't know.
Gibson sits the still unconscious Natty down in some standing water. Make sure her head doesn't fall over.
They picked the deepest part. It looked like sits down here.
He draws yet another knife and stalks back the way he came. Brick Bardo emerges from the shadows into the stylishly lit section. We get a shot of Gibson lit from above, so you can't see his face, just his arms crossed with the knife visible. He seems to, it's like he's waiting in prayer almost.
This was more that Blade Runner shit where it was just a very stylistic, lit or whatever.
Brick Bardo is looking around for Gibson, who in another close-up breaks his stance and looks up with his eyes closed like he's praying or something. Then we cut back to Brick skulking around. I love the way that Brick's lit because you can't see his face. It's just like this hulking form in the knife. And then we get a shot of Gibson seeming to bring his hands together like he's getting ready to stab. And then finally we get this wide shot and see that Brick has wandered into a corridor and that Gibson is doing a Van Damme split between the walls directly above dude's head.
How did he get up there in that position?
How did Brick not see him?
It was bright.
He's not that high. He's right there, man.
His balls are
he could have tickled his taint. So anyway, Brick suddenly stops sensing or smelling something is amiss, I guess.
Smells like ball sweat.
He slowly looks up and meets his doom. It's one of the cooler looking scenes in the movie so far.
It is.
From
they didn't show the violence at all. Then they just cut around the actual kill.
Yeah, but it's effective. It's sort of like the scene in First Blood where Rambo kills the pig.
Yes. Oh my God. Absolutely, positively correct.
As Brick screams his last, we see other pirates closing in. punk pirate Anthony Kiedis stops and screams in frustration or terror or something. He's like shouting.
Just for no reason, right?
Yeah,
this was before they even found Brick.
They hadn't even found anybody. He's just yelling because he's mad. Behind them, we see Fender and others are also now in the sewer.
Which Fender doesn't strike me as I'm going into the sewers type of guy.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Gibson, who's now dragging a semi-conscious Natty along, who at least she sort of has her legs at this point. They reach a ladder and a porthole or something through which sunlight is streaming. She can barely stand, but she's like, yeah, I can climb this ladder, no problem. And Gibson's like, cool, and just starts up the ladder.
Because
like,
I can't carry you up this thing.
I'm very tired. So he starts up, then pops into daylight, followed instantly by Natty. The fuck? She's fine. So back below, bad guys.
And then it's a good time to take a breather. Let's just relax to catch our breath here.
Yeah, we're just going to stop, hands on knees, like, ooh, that was scary, right?
Thank God we got away from those guys.
So back below, bad guys find their boy Brick, like, mostly submerged, just the top of his wig sticking out of the shit.
Was floating.
Shit water. So back outside, Gibson and Natty are chilling as though they are not being chased.
Thank God we're safe.
Daddy's like, guess I should have stayed put, huh? We don't have time for jokes. He doesn't laugh, nor should he. Though they'd have gotten her anyway, because the bad guys were literally standing right around the corner. Like, if he'd left her, they'd have captured her. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So back down in the sewer, Anthony Kiedis Goon lets out another scream after finding dead Brick. Gibson and Natty here decide that's their cue to get moving and take off running across the marsh.
So all of a sudden, Gibson can barely stand.
Yeah.
He's just like wobbling. Oh, God.
Well, that's what I'm like.
Maybe it's all the carrying of Natty.
The physical acting in this next bit, especially from Van Damme, gets like very suspect. It's like this is a person who's he doesn't know how to, like, it's like Stallone. It's like,
I'm trying to act like someone who's tired. Have never been tired
people
before.
Can run. I can run like I'm tired.
I can run like a human.
I can run like a tired human. Like, no, you can't. No, you can't. Lies. But anyway, if you want to know what's going to happen to our heroes, you're going to have to tune in next time, because that's all the episode for this episode.
I love it, man.
What's going to happen?
Thanks to everybody for listening.
Yeah.
There's a lot more exciting cyborg action to come. We're going to talk about cyborgs and everything else.
But with very little cyborg.
Yeah.
This movie's
hardly
any cyborg.
This movie's 2% cyborg.
But anyway, we'll be back.